Okay, so these are our fundamental formulas, these 6 formulas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sin A plus B, sin A minus B, cos A plus B, cos A minus B, tan A plus B, and tan A minus B. And what we had discussed was that we don't care much about where these formulas have come from. We just accept them as it is. One thing I need to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a matter of fact, even if I have, two formulas, even if I have these 2 formulas, sin A plus B
Hmm.
and cos A minus B, cos A plus B. Even if I have these 2 formulas, using this sin A plus B formula, putting B is equal to minus B, I can derive this formula. And if I have cos A plus B, then using B is equal to minus B, I can derive this formula. Have you understood what I've said?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that among these six formulas, even I don't require these 6 formulas. Even if I'm given these 2 formulas, I'll be able to generate all the formulas which are there on this page. Have you understood what I said?
Yeah.
So, but let us assume that, yeah. Now, if you ask me how will you be able to generate this tan A plus B and tan A minus B, it is simple
Hmm.
because tan A plus B is equal to sin A plus B upon cos A plus B. So because I have this formula, I have this formula, I'll be able to generate this formula. And then using the sin A minus B and cos A minus B, I'll be able to generate tan A minus B ka formula. Have you understood what I've said?
Yeah.
So fundamentally what I'm trying to tell you is that, whole of this song and dance can be generated using only these 2 formulas, this formula and this formula. Are we clear till here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the last uh, lecture, if you remember, we had discussed something called allied angles.
Yeah.
And in these formulas, sin A plus B, sin A minus B, cos A plus B, cos A minus B, in these formulas, we had put the values of theta, say A is equal to 0, B is equal to minus theta, or I had put uh, A is equal to pi by 2 and B is equal to plus theta or minus theta. Using, you know, only these formulas I was able to, after putting values of A and B as pi or theta or 3 pi by 2 and theta and 2 pi plus minus theta or pi by 2 theta, I was able to generate a lot of formulas for allied angles also. Have you understood what I said?
Hmm. Yeah.
So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that if I put A is equal to if I put A is equal to pi by 2 and if I put B is equal to theta, then I will be able to generate formula of cos pi by 2 minus theta. So similarly, I'll be able to generate formula of cos pi by 2 minus theta, sin pi by 2 plus theta, sin pi by 2 minus theta. There. So all all the angles of the allied angles can be generated using our standard formulas. Have you understood?
Yeah.
Now there is some mistakes in plus minus in these formulas. That is there. There's a problem with the few formulas in that Maharashtra textbook. But the point is that cos pi by 2 minus theta, cos pi by 2 plus theta, sin pi by 2 plus theta, sin pi by 2 minus theta, sin pi minus theta, sin pi plus theta, sin 3 pi by 2 minus theta, sin 3 pi by 2 plus theta. All these formulas can be generated using these formulas. Are we clear
Hmm.
till here?
Okay.
Are we clear till here?
Yeah.
Okay. So this part, using the formulas to generate the values of the allied angle, is it clear how we can generate?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what we'll do is using the same formulas, using these formulas only. What we want to generate is what does sine 2 theta looks like, or what does cos 2 theta looks like. Have you understood what I said?
Yeah.
So basically what I want to tell you is that how you will be able to generate the value of sine to theta, or the value of cos to theta, or the value of tan to theta. Have you understood what I want to prove?
Yeah.
Now I'll just give you one example, and rest of the legwork you'll have to do. And if you face any problem, just let me know. So for example, if I want to generate the value of sine to theta, then I'll just take this formula sin A plus B, and value of A would be theta and value of B would be theta. Have you understood?
Yeah.
And then I'll put the value of sin theta cos theta plus cos theta sin theta. Of course, it will be equal to 2 sin theta cos theta. Have you understood?
Yeah.
And once I've written 2 sin theta cos theta, if I divide this 2 sin theta cos theta by sin square theta plus cos square theta, because this is equal to 1, so it doesn't matter. So another way of writing this 2 sin theta cos theta can be 2 sin theta cos theta upon sin square theta plus cos square theta. Have you understood?
Yeah.
And if I divide the numerator and denominator by cos square theta, then my numerator will
Hmm.
become 2 tan theta and my denominator will become 1 plus tan square theta. Have you understood what I said?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
No.
Okay. So this is how this is how I will be able to generate the formula, these two formulas. Have you understood now?
Yeah.
Now, your homework will be to generate these formula. Cos square theta minus sin square theta 2, cos square theta minus 1, 1 minus 2 sin square theta, 1 minus tan square theta upon 1 plus tan square theta. I'll just give you a brief review how these all of these can be generated. So if I have the formula of cos A plus B, cos A cos B minus sin A sin B, if I write
Hmm.
this as theta plus theta, what I have is cos square theta minus sin square theta. Is it making
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So cos 2 theta is equal to cos square theta minus sin square theta. So this formula is generated. Have you understood?
Yeah.
So if I put the value, I already have the value sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So if I put
Yeah.
the value of cos square from this formula, this will be 1 minus sin square theta minus sin
Hmm.
square theta. So I'll have the value of 1 minus 2 sin square theta.
Yeah.
And if I put the value of sin square theta is equal to 1 minus cos square theta minus 1 minus cos square theta, then I'll have the value of 2 cos square theta minus 1. Is it making sense or not?
Yeah.
So the point, the overall point of this whole lecture is that these are the two big formulas that we have.
Okay.
Using these two formulas, I'll be able to generate say 30 formulas. That is what
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you. And
Okay.
few of these formulas will be requiring here and then there when we are discussing physics.
Okay.
So at that time, I'll be referring you to this lecture only. Ankita, you need to refer to that lecture from you know in that lecture you'll understand how this identity has come. Have you understood?
Yeah.
And that is why I want you to practice so that at least you have some sort of remembrance of this lecture. Have you understood till here?
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, if I want to generate this formula, then all I need to do is, because I have tan a plus b is equal to tan a tan b 1 minus tan a tan b. So tan 2 theta would be equal to tan theta plus tan theta whole upon 1 minus tan square theta, and this will be equal to 2 tan theta upon 1 minus tan square theta. Again, is it making sense?
Yeah.
So which part of this whiteboard we had discussion now? We just discussed this part, this part,
Yeah.
this part. Have you understood now?
Yeah.
So this part we had discussed. Okay. Now let me show you. Acha. Now another very interesting thing that you will find is
Mm.
That because you have the values of sine 2 theta. Now using this I can find the value of sine theta also. So sine theta would be equal to 2 sine theta by 2 cos theta by 2 is equal to 2 tan theta by 2 1 plus tan square theta by 2. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Is it making sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have just I have just put the value of theta as theta by 2. That is all that
Hmm.
I've done. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So this is how these formulas are generated. Which formulas? 1 second. Now just try to compare. Just try to compare. These formulas
Hmm.
and these formulas. The only difference that you will see is that this 2 theta has been replaced by a theta, and
Yeah.
this theta is replaced by theta by 2. That is the only difference that you will see there. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So, which part have we covered? We have covered. We have covered this part now. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want you to realize that this part, you know, it seems to be very, it seems to be very alien. But this part can also be generated from these two identities only. How? We just put the value of theta as 2 theta and the value of b as theta. Have you understood?
Yeah.
Have you understood what I have said?
Yeah.
Now, how this looks like, and this is what you would have copied. If you look at your notes, you will see that I had sent you this scan, this page 44. On page 44, now if you see, they want to generate the value of sine 3 theta, cos 3 theta, and tan 3 theta. See how do
Hmm.
they generate that? They just put the value of a as 2 theta and b as theta. Do you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they do all this mathematical dance and they arrive at this value. Do you see?
Yeah.
Similarly, when they had to generate the value of tan 3 theta, they took the
Hmm.
value of tan a plus b only. Now, if you see, this is just the formula for tan a plus b.
Hmm.
Tan a plus b is equal to tan a plus tan b upon 1 minus tan a tan b. Do you see all this, whatever they are doing?
Yeah.
And this is what I want you to practice so that, whenever you in physics, you meet tan 3 theta or cos 3 theta, sin 3 theta, you'll be able to, at least you have a, sort of a reference कि भाई ये कहीं तो देखा हुआ है, or at least this has been discussed in Plana lecture on Plana date. Ankita, any doubt till here?
No.
Now, so this part we have discussed now. This part we have discussed. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, there are few ugly looking formulas. They seem to be, they seem to be very scary. So, for example, if you look at this formula, this seems to be a very, scary formula with lot of sign, cos and c and d and c plus d by 2 and c minus d by 2. But, within next 5 minutes, you will realize that this is actually a very simple formula. Again, derived from the two fundamental formulas. So let us understand this part first, and using this part, we will understand this formula, this one, this
Okay.
formula. Okay. So I take sin a plus b. Sin a plus b is equal to sin a cos b plus cos a sin b, and sin a minus b is equal to sin a cos b minus cos a sin b. Now this is my first equation. This is my second equation. All I need to do is just add these two equations. So when I add these two equations, this will be sine A plus B plus sine A minus B. This is all that I have written here. Now when I add these two, you'll
Yeah.
understand. This plus cos A sine B and minus cos A sine B will cancel, and all I will get is 2 sine A cos B, which I have written here. Have you understood?
Yeah.
So similarly, I can subtract these two. I can subtract these two, and if you look closely, this is what I have done in this equation. I have subtracted 1 and 2. So subtracting 1 and 2, I will get this. Have you understood?
Yeah.
Similarly, when I look at this equation, equation number 3 and equation number 4, using equation number 3 and 4, once I can add these two equations, cos A plus B, cos A minus B, I can add these two equations and then I can subtract these two equations, cos A plus B minus cos A minus B, and I will be generating these four examples. Have you understood how these four are generated?
Yeah.
So once we
Yeah.
have generated these, and let me, so we are able to do this. We'll be using this formula when we are doing waves. At that time, we will be using these two formulas. Uh, there is a topic in waves, interference and diffraction of waves. At that time, we'll be using these formulas. So then I won't be discussing much about the trigonometry, that where this formula has come from. You'll just have to refer to this and understand कि भाई ये कहाँ से आया. Have you understood?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, once this part is over, then what I do is I just do a very simple substitution. I do a very simple substitution
Mm.
that whatever my a plus b, I put that a plus b is equal to c, and whatever is my a minus b, I put my a minus b is equal to d. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Then I calculate the value of a and b in terms of c and d. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
If you look closely, if you look closely, 2a would be equal to c plus d, therefore a would be equal to c plus d upon 2. Again, if I subtract these two equations, 2b would be equal to c minus d and b would be equal to c minus d upon 2. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
What does this do? What this does is that very smartly what I've done is this, this 2 sine a. Now my a has become c plus d upon 2. Cos b. My b has become c minus d upon 2. A plus b is c. So this is my c. Sine a minus b. My a minus b is d. So this is my d. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Basically, what I have done is, Ankita, I have changed the form of sine a plus b plus sine a minus b is equal to 2 sine a cos b. I have changed its form in the shape of sine c plus sine d is equal to 2 sine c plus d upon 2 cos c minus d upon 2. Have you understood?
Yeah.
And this same substitution, this substitution, this substitution, when I do in these three,
Mm.
I'll be able to generate, I'll be able to generate these formulas. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
And again, why do I want these formulas? I want these formulas because when we will be discussing waves, we will be using these formulas.
Okay.
Have you understood? Ankita, any doubt till here?
No.
Okay. And I'll be sending you scan that you don't worry. That how can you calculate the value of sine, cos, sine 72, sine 36, 715, cos 15 using some of these formulas. Have you understood?
Yeah.
So I'll put Shivang on the job and we will solve the values and I'll share the values that how sine 18 is equal to root 5 minus 1 upon 4, how cos 36 is equal to root 5 plus 1 upon 4. So that another idea that you can get is that how using these identities we can get the values of these angles also. So how this becomes very important is because usually you will have values like 30, 45, 60, 90, 0. These are the only values that we are comfortable with.
Yeah.
But now I'll be sharing with you the values of angles like 15 degree, 18 degree, 36 degree, 72 degree. These values I'll be sharing with you. You don't have to do the legwork. I'll make Shivang do the whole of the calculation because you don't require this much. In maybe in one or in few of the questions that we are doing in physics, maybe somewhere will require the value of sine 18 or cos 36. That time I'll tell you that this is where the value has come from.
Okay. But I think one of the exercises previously you had given a
Yes,
same exercise, I
yes,
think.
yes, yes, yes. So in one of the problems that we'll be doing in physics, somewhere they might ask you the value of sine 18 or cos 36, so that you
Mm-hmm.
remember. And the same thing that you are saying now, that you already have done it in one of the previous exercises. This is what I want
Mm.
you to realize when we are doing in physics. 5 months down the line, we might be doing wave chapter. You should understand that this is the identity that you had seen in trigonometry when we were discussing trigonometry. Is it making sense?
Mm. Yeah.
So, this is the scope of this lecture. Now, what I'll suggest is like for allied angles, you had done this exercise. What I'll
Mm.
suggest is spend some time and try to derive the values related to 2 theta, the values related to 3 theta, and especially this part. There's sine A plus B plus sine A minus B, because this is what you will be using in physics. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So, uh, actually, I can't ask you to refer to this page of this Maharashtra textbook because it has few mistakes here. Or what I'll do is I'll correct the mistakes and send you the scan. But these would be the formula that we will be requiring.
Okay.
And this is all that we require in trigonometry.
Mm.
And next time we'll meet, we'll start with the vectors. Any doubt in this lecture?
No.
Okay, great.